Dragonslayer. This is coming our way via Paramount, who is notoriously hit and miss. I'm super glad to report that this 4K is amazing, and not only is the 4K amazing, the movie is amazing. I have only seen this on VHS. I don't think I watched this when a DVD was released. Maybe I did. I used to watch like all the DVDs as they were coming out back in the day, but I can't remember really renting this one. Maybe I did, but I for sure rented this a lot as a kid. And I only remembered a few points in the plot. I couldn't say whether or not it was good. So I blind buyed this one. I went with the Steelbook option. Comes with a cardboard slip, which looks really cool. It's got this retro style, Magic the Gathering D&D style like card art going on. I don't know if this is the original key art at all, but it looks really cool. Here's the back. You got your main protagonist, who's like a sorcerer's apprentice with his spear he gets somewhere in the middle of the flick. Here's the J card for anyone interested in that. So you got just the 4K and a digital code, which, bummer straight away. I mean, Paramount doesn't fail to impress. Their digital codes suck in Canada because they either don't work or they're Apple codes, and I refuse to use that. So this actually didn't come with a code, even though it states that it does. And I've searched on Reddit. I've heard a lot of people say this on YouTube and on Reddit. So I don't know if it's all the copies or if it's just the Steelbook, but buyer beware. You will have to go through a code redemption process, which I was about to do, but they wanted me to send pictures and stuff. And honestly, for a code that's not going to work, I'd only be doing it to give it away on this channel, which I normally would do, but I won't now out of like just protest. They should have just sent the code and made it easier for me when I sent them a request to provide it. So anyway, that's my piece on that. We're going to take the slip off, and we've got an awesome looking Steelbook. Show you the back too. So really, really cool. Literally fire artwork, okay? Inside, kind of subtle, but effective. You've got like a text scroll font, real clean and simple. But yeah, Steelbook looks sick. I got this one in really good condition too. And I'm really glad to report, because Paramount can be a little dicey on the transfers and restorations. This looked really good. Now, I've got VHS as my reference point for a movie I barely remembered, but this 4K looks friggin' great, guys. I have a mediocre television that doesn't even have Dolby Vision support, so I was watching the regular HDR. Sometimes some movies, if they're lit too dark, I don't get great results with this setup unless I turn all the lights off and go all the way in. But this one just looked great. Didn't have to do anything weird. Resolution looked good. The restoration work looked good. The movie's filmed really well. So this is an ILM movie, okay? Now, I'm a huge Star Wars fan, OG trilogy. I have a Star Wars tattoo here, which I will not show you at this moment in time. But yeah, I'm an OG Star Wars fan when I was a kid, before Star Wars made its comeback with the special editions in the 90s. So I got here a copy of Star Wars. So this came out. Empire came out. And in between Empire and Return of the Jedi, ILM was looking for a project. So they did this guy. The dragon in here looks amazing, even to today's standards. Like, obviously, you're looking at something a few generations behind CG, but the motion capture work that they sort of perfected in here was the groundwork for what they eventually did in Jurassic Park. So this movie exists for the special effects, but I'm proud to say that the story, although it's very simple, it's packed with satire. This movie is fantastic. I actually was laughing throughout. I watched it alone. My wife was upstairs. She told me the next day she could hear me like chuckling the whole time. There's these little, and it's obvious what they're doing, but they don't beat you over the head with it. I think they nailed the satire in here amazing. The ending, which I don't want to spoil, fabulous. You just got all these people swooping in, taking some credit that they don't deserve. And yeah, I just loved it. So this is a hard recommend. Other than the digital code snafu, but again, you just got to send in some pictures of the receipt, and they want pictures of the packaging for whatever reason, as if you couldn't just take the slip code out of a version that came with it. Anyway, as soon as I heard redundant, goofy, unrational policies for how to redeem the code, I checked out. So no loss for me. The 4K is awesome. I kind of wish they would have given us a Blu-ray in here, and I know this was also released on Blu-ray, so there's a Blu-ray version if you want to get it. I'm sure that'll look good too. But solid 4K. On the subject of dragons, I kind of picked this up too. I just saw it on sale. You know me, I've discussed a few other titles like this, but I roll through this Walmart regularly now that I work near, and it's a really bad Walmart. They have almost nothing, but when they get something, they usually got it for a pretty decent price. And I don't know, I've scored a few weird gems there so far. So on the theme of dragons, picked up House of the Dragon. I'd seen the DVD and the Blu-ray version at the Walmart, and I had zero interest. I knew there was a 4K Steelbook and this set out, so I haven't even really watched the series. I've seen the first episode and parts of the second episode. I'd streamed those, and leading up to this little conversation, I'd watched the first episode again, just to get a sense of the transfer. From what I understand, the show's really good. I liked Game of Thrones. First 4 seasons were solid. Kind of like spins its wheels a little bit after that, and then just fails really hard in the ending. Not even really in the sense of what happens, but just how they went about it. Just lazy. Anyway, House of the Dragon was their attempt to come back and try and make something out of a property that has, a lot of potential. 1 episode in, it seems pretty good. I heard it's really good. I know that there's like a big time jump that happens pretty early in this. Packaging's decent on this one. I really didn't love this art, and I didn't like the Steelbook art that I saw, so there was no way I was buying this full price. And normally I would wait for a full set of this. Like, I don't even have the Game of Thrones set. I'm kind of hoping they re-release it because I don't love the version they have out. The Steelbook set, in theory, is cool, but it's expensive, and the Steelbooks themselves are bland. And in the normal 4K set, they've stacked the discs in there, so I might still buy that. They have it at Costco, so maybe when I'm flush with cash one day and I got nothing else to buy, I might pick that one up. But, I'd originally thought maybe wait and see how this series plays out and get the full collection if it ends up being good. But part of me wants to really support 4K TV releases because, especially HBO, they come out with like some really good shows and a few other, there's good shows coming out. They're in there. I just like the idea that they're releasing them on 4K now, so I felt compelled to support this, and they had it for a good price. I'm in Canada. This was $39.99, or it might have been actually stickered for 40.0. It was $40 Canadian. That's like $30 American. I thought it was maybe even less, actually. It's like $28 American. So I thought I got this for a good deal. It's considerably less than when released. And yeah, the 4Ks look good. I will say this show would definitely benefit from a better setup because this is graded really dark, especially in the first episode. I haven't seen the rest of the series yet, but first episode, there's a lot of scenes that take place in these dark rooms with candlelight. And oh my God, my TV, even at night in the dark with the lights off, it was pushing it. But you could tell when in the highlights in the candlelight, like everything looked really good. It's just, this is a dark show, at least in the beginning when they're in the crypts and weird spots, right? And the dungeons. Anyway, it looks great, but I'm sure a Dolby Vision, like OLED TV, this probably looks really, really good. Inky blacks, because it's dark and, yeah, really well lit. The next releases we're going to talk about are a couple other Steelbooks that came out. These are from a few weeks ago, but I'm still going to mention them, all right? We got Mask of Zorro. This is Sony. The other releases as well. I'm sure you can already guess what it is. Mask of Zorro. This movie is basically a clone of the movie version of The Count of Monte Cristo. Pretty much the exact same situation, but with Zorro. Banderas, Anthony Hopkins, Catherine Zeta-Jones, and some really good supporting cast in there. The villains are good. I can't remember their names off the top of my head, but the main villain and his like main lackey, really solid antagonists. Catherine Zeta-Jones, like at the peak of her beauty, I guess. My God, she looks amazing in some of the dresses and stuff she's wearing in here. So this movie's really sick. I actually did own it before. I have the previous release, which I scored for super cheap. That's why I felt a little bit easier on the upgrade here. I think I got this for $10 on sale once with the slip and everything. So here's the previous release. Pretty much the same thing, except this just has the regular HDR10, whereas the new Steelbook, like a lot of the other Sony upgrades, has the Dolby Vision, which, as I previously stated, I don't have the TV for. I have the player, but I don't have the TV for it. So I haven't been able to watch that, but just the transfer on this, the normal HDR, looks really great. So if you don't already own this, just maybe probably get this one if you're interested in it. Unless you can get the other version for dirt cheap and you don't really care about the nitty-gritty details like that. But yeah, really solid. Got these for a little bit less than Amazon was selling them at the time, although they eventually did match the price. I went with Best Buy on this one and the next one, which is Air Force One. I did get these ones a little damaged, and Best Buy's like policy for customer service is, again, a little frustrating. So just out of spite, I did not make any claims to return these. The Mask of Zorro just has like, it's just from the factory. It's nothing Best Buy did. It's, underneath the packaging, everything. There's just some scratching, light scratching on this one. I think there's something on one of the edges that felt a little brutal. Just like a really roughly machined part here. The Air Force One, oh yeah, this one's got some bad like scratching up here. But again, it's pretty subtle. And honestly, I'm trying to be a little less anal when it comes to this stuff. So Air Force One, this is a movie that I didn't really love. I always kind of made fun of it. The CGI on the plane is brutal. The premise is really silly. I don't know. There's something about the way Harrison Ford fights in movies. It works in Indiana Jones. He doesn't do a lot of fist-to-fist work in Star Wars or anything, but watching him fight people in this is just insanely goofy. Every single one of the special forces / terrorist people on this would massacre him.